Okay, it's now 9:30 and we're ready to begin. This is case number 2021-0188-A. It is a request for a variance for the property located at 3100 Marnat Road. And the petitioners are Doron and Shifra Natiga. And the property is in Pikesville. They are requesting a variance for a carport. We held a hearing virtually on September 14th, 2022. There were a number of witnesses, most notably Mr. and Mrs. Natiga, who testified extensively. And all of the exhibits provided by the Natigas were accepted into evidence. So the record is complete. The question for us to decide is whether the Natigas have satisfied the standard that what's known informally as the Cromwell standard, which is the standard for a variance in which it is necessary to show that the property is unique in a manner which makes it unlike surrounding properties, and whether if the variance is denied, the applicant will experience a practical difficulty or hardship, as that term is understood in Cromwell. So I think that's the background. This was, I should say, opposed by the adjoining neighbor, and who also testified. So, does anyone want to make any initial comments or jump in here or have anything to offer? No?
I don't need to. I can. I mean,
yeah. Why don't you? Why don't you?
A quick overview by me is the property does not meet the Cromwell standard. It's not unique. The evidence is it's the same or similar to the other properties in the area. And to the extent there's a claim of practical difficulty, it arises from, but under the law cannot permissibly be supported by a self-inflicted hardship, which would be them building this carport without the appropriate permit or variance. And I think further that there's a problem that with building this with a zero setback that abuts the neighbor's window, bedroom window, presents harm and a negative impact. So for me, with that broad overview, that's a pretty quick summary. I recognize that's harsh, but it's not the board's duty or even ability, in my view, to give such relief where a party, even if it was accidental and not intentional, creates this condition. And so applying the standard as required, I would find that they don't meet it.
Well, I agree absolutely with the bottom line. I certainly, the only quibble I guess I would have is that I think there is no hardship or practical difficulty, but for different reasons. I didn't understand the claim to be that the practical difficulty was the expense involved in having to remove the carport. I understood it to be that Mrs. Natiga's very serious medical condition would be, I don't know if the right word would be exacerbated, or would be her situation would be far more difficult, given her medical condition, if there was no carport. And even if one accepted that argument, that's not practical difficulty within the meaning of Cromwell. That's the practical difficulty has to relate to the nature of the property and not the nature of the resident. So I would, as I say, my only difference with what you said, Mr. Sampson, is that that's the basis upon which I believe there is no practical difficulty. I do want to say for the record that I'm not unsympathetic with the petitioner's situation. I do believe that there was probably significant misunderstanding between them and the county authorities. I don't believe that the Natigas acted in bad faith here at all. It's not necessary for us to make such a finding. It's not even necessary to find that there's any detriment to the neighbor. Not sure there is, frankly. I mean, they don't have to remove the driveway. They just have to remove the carport. So to the extent that there's a car or there's lights or there's whatever coming in at night or whatever, I mean, that will remain. That's not resolved by removal of the carport. But it seems to me that the removal of the carport is what the law requires, notwithstanding good faith, bad faith, or any faith whatsoever. So that's where I come out on this.
I agree with your far better articulation.
I'm actually on the same page as both of you. You know, this case, it's kind of hard to see, the forest through the trees with, looking at everything Mr. Natigas had to go through to get, to where they were with this variance. But that's not as Mr. Sampson pointed out at the beginning, that's not our directive here. We have to look at the law of Cromwell and actually apply the actual physical characteristics of the land. And as much, as I understand there's the problem, they have the problem out back with the water, and there's some sloping, but that's not unique to the area, surrounding areas. A lot of the properties are the same. And so I don't think it meets that part and even the uniqueness part, but then even I agree 100% with you, Mr. Evans, as far as the hardship. I don't see any practical difficulty as hardship, any of those factors being met here. So I agree with both of you.
Yeah. I was going to say something and I forgot what it was, but I must say I'm extremely skeptical of the notion that the carport addresses the swampiness in the back. I just don't see how that could possibly be the case. There was no engineering testimony to that effect, and I just don't see how there could be any significant causal connection between swampiness in the back and the carport in the front. So that also was something that left me wanting more. So, all right. Well, are there any other comments from anyone?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from here.
All right. All right. So we've decided then that the application for the variance will be denied, and an opinion will issue forthwith. And with that, we will adjourn this deliberation. Thank you all very much. And I thank the parties, the Natigas in particular, for their presentation, which was excellent and which fully presented their arguments. We appreciate that. So, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
See you, Mr. Sampson, Mr. Evans.
Excuse me?
I said, see ya.
Oh, okay. All right.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah. Bye-bye.